Welcome, Sumit. Welcome,
Hi.
Nimish. Uh, I have got very limited time because it being the last session, I would not like to, extend the session beyond, next 15 to 20 minutes. I would like to wrap it up. Uh, Today's time, if you see, the consumers have got hardly any patience to wait for whatever they need in either the essentials or the fashion. In that context, and the era of the instant gratification, I wish to understand from you individually, how does it fit in your category, your brand, your services into the need of today's consumers? So, starting with Mr. Nimish, although you are into brick and mortar model, and as I understand that you are not into the this instant deliveries, but if the consumers are into this euphoria of seeking something and getting it immediately, and you're not fitting into, you're not offering those services, how does it work for you, for your business?
Hello. Uh, Thank you, Mr. Singh. So I think just a brief about our brand. I think we are a around 35, 36-month-old brand, basically in fast fashion, value fashion segment. We have more than around 110 stores, essentially in the south, in the brand called as Style Union. So in fact, this was a question which was raised to us because our operation started immediately after COVID, and everybody asked us, you really have the guts of opening hardcore brick and mortar stores post-COVID, where e-commerce was the way to go, and where people wanted, like what you said, quick deliveries, instant gratification, all that. So to answer that, what we have said is, we've decided as a company to open up stores in clusters. So, we open neighborhood stores. So wherever we go and open stores, so like in Hyderabad, I have 23 stores. Bangalore, I have 24 stores. So we saturate that cluster. It helps us in two ways. It helps us customers recognize the brand. And because we are a day-to-day, everyday fashion kind of a model, there's a lot of repeat buys from the customers. And because these are neighborhood stores, there is, we are ensuring customers can regularly see the stores. There's not much marketing that we do. So that way, day to day, basically daily essentials is something which the customers can get from our stores. And we saturate a particular market, then move into the next market. It serves both ways. It also helps us in our supply chain backend and creating a brand relevance in the neighborhood. And then we move to the next market. So I think for us, that's the way, we've in fact don't do much of online. We do online only from an omni presence perspective whenever sizes are not available. But the cluster approach is something which we believe is something which creates relevance for the brand.
Which means by reaching out to the customer to their doorstep or in the vicinity, you intend to give them this facility of allowing them to touch and feel and then buy their products.
Yes.
Consolidating each vicinity, the target vicinity, and moving to the next vicinity. That's another way to in the reaching out to customers' home is either ways, meaning either you reach out through a delivery or through your physical store being there. So I now would like to understand from Mr. Sumit. You're also into the brick and mortar only, but I understand that you are now simultaneously getting into the portion of digital support to ensure that you reach out to your customers for their instant gratification.
So, to just as what Nimish just mentioned, so we are also into the brick and mortar category, and as a landmark portfolio, we are into multiple segments, into value fashion, into multi-brand outlet departmental store, even into value section of the fashion world, and we have home center, furnishing, and everything, which is a different segment altogether. Now, talking about the instant or the digital world, so we have multiple ways where we are addressing this kind of what we call as a digital instant kind of a delivery or instant kind of an services to the customer. Now, apart from being the physical brick and mortar stores which we have all across the country into different formats and different sizes and everything, we also have presence at our own websites of the brand, as well as in the mantras and the third party sites in which we call the marketplace and everything. Plus also we have also added into the things that we have something called as endless aisles in our physical stores, which we call it as more as a phygital store, where endless aisle basically means if the consumer or a customer wants to walks inside the store and they don't have to go to a particular segment and everything, they can do everything out through a kiosk out over there. Anything and everything which is available in the store or in the warehouse anywhere in the country is available on that kiosk, and they can immediately place an order and that gets delivered to their place or can be picked up from a store. Second option what the consumers have, that they can scroll, you can place an order from their home, from their any place, and do a click and collect also. We call it as click and collect, where they don't have to come inside the store and wait for 15-20 minutes to get the billing. It's more like a touch point for them, that they have ordered, they come to the store and pick it up. So that's the way we are evolving ourselves in terms of servicing to the consumers, servicing to the clients from an instant point of view, that they can have a experience of the store, as well as they don't have to, because instant is what? Today's scenario, the generation and everybody, is the instant is that everything is wanted without waiting. They don't want to dwell that time into the billing segment, or they don't want that time spent scrolling out the things when they are inside a physical store. So that's the way that these platforms have been created by us in the brick and mortar world, I'll put it this way, to get into the digital space. So one is the click and collect, where you place an order, you just have to collect, you choose your nearby store, you can just go there and collect it. Second option, what I spoke about, endless aisles. You can go to a store, place an order from the kiosk, the machine, and it can get delivered to your place, or you can get it picked up from the store then and there itself. Third, we are already present in a digital in terms of our own websites as well as the marketplace and everything. So that's a way we are also getting ourselves evolved in terms of how do we get the digital as well as the so-called instant or the service to the consumers, that they are, it's more ease for them than to actually spend more time in the store and everything. So that's what if the generation is wanting, the digital world out of it. That's how the address is.
I understand, because you're trying to now club it together to make it a wholesome experience for the consumers. So your physical and the digital, so it perfectly makes it a combination of digital for your brand as far as concerned to the customers. One more question I have got, the extended one to the earlier one, is that how do you use your loyalty programs to create that personal experience and that personal satisfaction to customers?
We have a loyalty program has been, if I see Landmark has, we call it as Landmark Rewards. It's been going for years now, and it's among the first pioneers in the retail segment, among the few companies which started this program of loyalty, and it's going on for almost 2 decades now, more than 2 decades. So the loyalty program, we have it in terms of which can be used all across. That's the first thing. It's used all across, whether it's a digital platform, whether it's a physical store. That's one. Second is the kind of a bonuses which comes in terms of the consumers, in terms of a birthday month or an addition to it and everything. That's also a part of the loyalty program. Now all this database also is used to push notification for them, that an add-on can be put to them in terms of being the loyal consumers of the brand. So how do we add the extended support to them? So that's how the loyalty program is being used. And it's been there for almost 2 decades now, more than 2 decades.
Being into the fashion, the replenishment time must be quite a critical thing.
So
how do you address that?
So, Mr. Singh, what has happened over the last 1 year? Earlier we used to have in fashion 4 seasons. Now it's a new thing which is called is seasonless. So there are 2 segments into it where we say our core products which are going to be throughout the year. Second is the seasonless, means basically the new fashion or the new variants come in every fortnight to every month. That's the way it's getting into. So now the dynamics of the business of fashion is so evolving, especially in the value fashion where the consumer wants newness every 1 month or 2 months. So we are putting it as a seasonless. So replenishment is now, which used to happen once in 2 months. Now the new stocks keep on coming in. every fortnight. Plus the fashion trends also keep on changing every 2 to 3 months. So that's why we call it as seasonless. So that's how the replenishment has now increased over a period of time. So it's now seasonless. It's no longer winter, autumn and everything. It's there from a particular category in terms of, but entire store, most of the 70%, 60% is called seasonless, which is the core products which we have.
Now I come to Mr. Rakesh. Up till now, we have been, specialists from the brick and mortar.
Yes.
But you are the one who can really touch upon this section of discussion. Since you are the pioneer into the digital and the quick commerce, if you can call it as for that time, I would like to understand how do you manage the fashion, the essentials, and the electronics to satisfy all three different type of customers, and how do you manage that through the today's time when the customers are so much impatient about their.
Yeah, so unlike hello, yeah. So unlike the brick and mortar challenge that they have, I think this, I think with technology and the likes of Flipkart that's there, I think the disruption was much easier to do in online space. We have built speed through multiple models. We felt that there is a latent need that's there in the customer in terms of speed. And today in this era, we have 2-3 models that we actually tried to cater to. For example, a 10-minute model, which is typically the dark store model that most of the quick commerce platforms work upon. It is mostly restricted to essentials in terms of fashion at this point of time. We obviously intend to sell fashionable, trendy products as well. But yeah, there's obviously a small size of the store. So the complexity is there in that part. So we have to ensure whatever sells actually sells more. It is powered by data. The best part about online, and it really helps us, is we have pin code level data. So we actually know from the history that what kind of customers buy what kind of stuff from a certain pin code. It actually helps us as a great input to put the right kind of assortment for the right pin code. I think that's a starting point to actually crack the supply chain and also to ensure that the right product is available at the right time to the consumer. Second most important point of speed is the other categories, like for example, typically the quick commerce model today, a 10-minute model is worked on based on groceries. So groceries has been the key pivot around which fashion and essentials have also been built around. Grocery gives that frequency of purchase, and when there is a last minute need around essentials, in fact, categories like luggage have also seen great traction in the 10-minute model. Watches have seen great traction. So effectively, whatever is the last minute need is where the 10-minute model is working. We also feel that fashion is not just a need at a moment. It is also an impulse purchase, and it's also a planned purchase. So typically, I think fashion, we foresee that at Flipkart, we foresee that there can be a larger level play with the 30-minute model at this point of time, where we have a larger assortment that's available to a larger area, not necessarily one pin code, maybe 10 pin codes, create a much bigger assortment. And even if it's a 30-minute delivery, I think customers are in today's era are more than happy to take it. So from our point of view, we feel since we already sell fashion, we have the assortment. It's more about curating the assortment to that set of customers. The more we crack that, the easier it is to satisfy the speed part. Otherwise, it's always going to be a challenge. But yeah, I mean, that's where a lot of tech, a lot of data is being used, and the logistics is being cracked and disrupted to get there.
Something just an extension. Sorry. So
Just to add to the point what just mentioned, so fashion is right. It's also impulsive, but it's also an experiential also. So 10 minutes, 20 minutes in fashion for essentials can be happening, but when it comes to experience, when it comes to some choice, variety and everything, people actually want to dwell time when it comes to choosing a fashion apparel for themselves, whether it's online, whether it's offline. So they want to dwell some time and also experience it in terms of what is the variety and what is the options which they have in the kitty for them to choose for. It's not something which instantly, because it's at times experience also which they want from it.
And the pleasure attached to this whole experience of interacting with the different product, the design,
Absolutely.
the offerings. So that's again very important. One more factor related to the logistics. How do you handle that? Because so complex it's becoming.
Yeah, it's actually a nightmare to
third
be very
party-
honest. That's the most challenging part of the whole
Yeah,
model.
yeah.
Yes, I mean, with the advent of 3PL logistics, 3PL players who have come in, this part of delivering the right product at a much faster pace has moved forward quite a bit. I think that is what is happening in terms of we collaborate with the delivery logistics players at a localized level to actually deliver the products on the time. So we have multi-warehouse model where we actually create warehouses at even a micro market level, and then furthermore delivery happens. That's the only way today we are managing to manage the time from the back-end supply chain point of view. Yes, I think with the advent of the 3PL players is where this disruption has been possible.
I've got one last question which I can address to three of you. Anyone who can just touch upon. As we move into an era of infinite pace, what's one bold bet for your company to stay ahead of the acceleration curve?
So I think, ultimately most important today, of course, speed has become a key lever also from a consumer point of view. But eventually, as he was also saying, that customer wants what he wants at a right time. Not necessarily now. Of course, now is one of the parameter today. If you can get what I want at right time, that's the best thing that can happen. So I think as a company, we intend to get there through analytics, through artificial intelligence that's coming up these days, and we really want to get to that extent that when a customer wants what he wants at the time he wants, if he can really crack that, which is going to be a complex challenge, but I think if I can pivot around that, because we have the assortment today as a platform, it's about getting that person the right thing that he wants at the right time. That is what I think we'll take it up as a challenge to crack it in the next year or so.
Just to add to the points and everything which you just mentioned, so from our perspective, where we'll say that we are brick and mortar as well as present online, I'll say more as a physical kind of environment. So from a brand perspective, what we see is that how do we maintain and keep up with the pace of time in terms of maintaining a balance between the two. At the same time, because also brick and mortar is there to live, it has to be giving that kind of an experiential kind of a shopping experience to the consumers and everything. So that also has to be kept on evolving as we keep on going year on year and everything. And how do we be omnipresent? Omnipresent in the sense that how are we more visible, whether it's through an online portal, whether we are through the physical stores, and how are we being relevant to the changing times, whether it's from a perspective of speed, whether it's perspective of sustainability, whether it's from a perspective of availability, and also be the most preferred ones. That's how the brand is looking after in the future, that how does it keep up with the pace of time of evolving themselves, because now what we used to call it in the past a 3 years window of a plan or a 5 years business plan, now everything gets shrink down to a 1 year or a 18 months or a 24 months maximum business plan. So how does, because the vulnerability and the volatile the market is, so how do we keep up ourselves paced up to the changing times, whether it's form of physical stores or is it in form of online portals and everything. So I'll put it in a very simple line that keep evolving. That's what we, and keep evolving with the right pace and with the right need at the time, right time. That's how the brand is going to be looking into it.
So I think we have a slightly different approach to the entire thing, because we're talking about, quick satisfaction, customers wanting everything here and now. We've realized in our entire 40 months of, we believe in something called as, disappointing the customers. So taking slightly off from there, we've never discounted our products right from day one. So whenever a customer comes, took us 6 months for the customers to realize, because every customer had come in used to having discounted products. He's used to having a price value equation in his favor. We realized that we had to put products which are honestly priced. First price is the best price, and since we don't discount, after 6 months the customers realize that if you like a product, if you get it right now, please buy it, because these are the retailers who are not going to discount. So if you get your size, if you like a product, please buy it. Otherwise, next time when you come in, you will not get it. So to that extent, it has worked in our favor, while it took us initial 6 to 8 months where everybody else was offering discounts. But over a period of time, because the product journey has been quite strong, the price value equation has been quite strong, and we believed in honest pricing. So customers have come back to us realizing that this product quality at this price is very good. The pricing is not going to come down later, and because it's honest pricing, so the disappointment of customers has actually helped us in a positive way. I think that's something where we are pivoting to.
Interesting actually, because in the similar lines we also operate as Samsonite. We don't believe in discounting. As you can see all around, 1,000+ stores are there all across the country, but we don't get into this mode of offering discount and selling Samsonite. So and ultimate the customer satisfaction in terms of the price, in terms of the product quality, because the customer has to be satisfied. He will come to you whichever mode he finds you to get connected. So whether physical, whether the digital, because even though we don't discourage digital sales, but digital do not mean that you need to offer something to encourage them to buy. It's just one more medium to connect with them, and bridging that gap, you could use whatever the mediums are available to you to reach out to them. So that's very interesting. I think we had a very quick round of interaction with physical as well as the digital expert. And I'm sure you all must have found it useful for your own information. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Yes, we have a question there.
Hi, this is Rachit. My question is specifically for brands moving into digital channels. The more you move towards rapid deliveries, obviously RTO, courier returns might come down, but how do you plan to manage the customer returns? I understand customer returns in fashion is a big problem statement, upwards of 15%. I am ex-Flipkart as well, so I understand, but I don't know how leaders see this going forward. And second is, how do you, especially digital channels, how do these companies plan to improve the user engagement? Because fashion generally, in fashion, the user retention is pretty less as compared to other, FMCG categories. Yeah.
So, as you said, obviously RTO will reduce in a 10-minute delivery scenario or faster speed scenario. But yeah, I mean, purely from returns point of view, I think we'll still stick to the consumer promise which is existing. So we'll have to figure out a model where we take back the stock also and manage the logistics parallelly. So that promise remains. Don't think we can go away from that promise, because that's where the e-com has been built upon. So that will not change, but we'll obviously figure out ways to improve efficiencies there. Second, to answer the second question that you have spoken about, we don't want to do a 10-minute delivery as a longer saw for a fashion. So 10-minute delivery is more applicable, as I said, about two essentials categories. So वहाँ पे वैसे भी returns are very limited, to be very honest, because it's expected to, you need it, so you're taking it. When it is a larger sense, a 30-minute delivery or something like that, there obviously we have to give a right assortment. And as I said, through data, we really want to make the right product available to the customer at the right time. If we crack that, it's a challenge, and it is the challenge that every company is facing. But if we get closer to that with technology as well, and with a lot of data analytics, etc., I think that's where we will end up solving the process to a certain extent. Returns exist in the online scenario at this point. Honestly, there is no immediate solve that we see. But yeah, because we intend to keep the consumer promise, we are holding on to that, and it will continue for a certain time. But yeah, with certain measures, we'll try to build in efficiencies there.
Thank you.
Hope
Do we
there are
have
no
any
more
more
questions?
questions? All right. So with
Yeah,
that,
should we conclude?